to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to all the fullness of God. That word grasp there in that verse is this word of strongly taking hold, a firm grasp, almost forcefully. And so when we have this truth that Jesus loves us, it's a truth that we need to grasp onto. And it's a truth that we can never completely plumb the depths of. There is always more to learn about Jesus' love. Praise God. Praise God. And we need to seek to grasp, to take hold of that love of Christ, to know how wide and long and deep is the love of Christ. Now, it says that Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. And in our human understanding, that we would expect the next verse would be that Jesus then hurried to go heal Lazarus, right? But no, look at the next verse. Turn back page. Yet, when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. And that leads me to the second truth. Jesus' plan is not always the same as ours. Mary and Martha's plan was for them to send Jesus and him to come right away and heal Lazarus just from being sick, right? Jesus knew even before that his plan was to wait until Lazarus had been dead 4 days. Mary and Martha don't know this. We know it. Now, on this side of history, we know that he's going to raise Lazarus from the dead. But Mary and Martha in this passage don't know that. They just know that their brother had died and Jesus was not there. God's plan is not always the same as ours. In Isaiah 55, 8-9, God says, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Waiting on God's plan is hard. A lot of times we don't understand it. We don't know why he's doing it. And that time period of waiting, which we're celebrating right now with Advent, is hard. Mary and Martha waited 4 days. When we're celebrating Advent, there was over 400 years between the prophet Malachi and the coming of John the Baptist. The Jews waited 400 years without a prophet. You have to wait. They didn't know God's plan. They knew God was going to send a Messiah eventually, but when that Messiah came, that plan was very different than what they thought. As a result, in the midst of our tragedies in life, we need to hold on to that love of God, but our plans and our expectations of what God's going to do, we need to hold on to those loosely over time. If we try to hold on to our plans and expectations of the Lord's going to make all this come together just perfectly, and that's not his plan, him kind of undoing our firm grip on that is going to hurt more. We have to hold on to our own plans and expectations loosely and submit them to him. Back when Dustin got laid off from Qualcomm, and he had a period of time where he was still working his project was going to be shut down, and he knew it. And we thought, okay, it'll be really easy for him to get another job within Qualcomm because he gets great reviews and everybody loves him. But he didn't get another job within Qualcomm, and so that he was laid off and he was unemployed. And he had interviews, and there was one interview where he had multiple ones for this one job, and we thought he had it in the bag. And it completely fell through. And oh God, what's going on? We don't know. And we waited months and months and months. A couple months after that particular one, then everything just came together for him to get this job at Point Loma. But you know what? Even then, there were some expectations I had for the next job that I had to let go of the way different things worked out. And I still had to let go of expectations. And Dustin and I had to hold on to our plans and expectations loosely and see, yes, God's plan is better. And we are very thankful for his job now. But we had to hold on to things loosely during that time. And we had to hold on to God's love, knowing that he was going to take care of us. We had to hold on to his love tight and take firm grasp of it. So when we are in the midst of the tragic, how we choose to have faith knowing that God's plan is different than ours. We have to trust that it will be better, even if it's harder, even if we don't completely understand it at the time. Now, Jesus comes, and Martha gets word that Jesus is finally coming. Okay? Her plan is gone to shreds. It's gone. Lazarus is dead and in the grave. And so as soon as Martha hears that Jesus is coming, she goes right to him. She's direct. For those of you who are here when I talked about confrontation, she is not an avoiding turtle. She goes right to him. And her words, are very direct. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Some would say that's even rude. And there's kind of an implied question there. Lord, why didn't you come? Why didn't you heal my brother? But even in that, she still displays a little faith and saying, even now I know that God hears you. She knows that Jesus has a special relationship with God, even in the midst of that really direct question to Jesus. And the third truth is that Jesus is not offended by our hard questions. Does he rebuke Martha? No. But he does not answer that implied question. He does not always respond in ways that we expect. We can go to him with our hard questions. He doesn't rebuke us. He doesn't look down on us for asking those hard questions during difficult times. But he may not always respond the way that we expect. In this particular case, he redirects Martha to his greater plan first. Your brother will rise again. And she's thinking it's in the last day, the resurrection of the last day. But his greater plan obviously is to raise Lazarus again, but she doesn't know that. But ultimately, he redirects Martha to himself. I am the resurrection and the life. Do you believe this? And Martha's response is a beautiful statement of faith. She doesn't know that Jesus is about to raise her brother from the dead. Even with her brother in the grave and her question why unanswered, she says, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who has come into the world. Even then, we can learn from Martha's example that during our tough times, we can go directly to him. He welcomes us with open arms. But we might not get those answers that we're looking for, and we have to be content with Jesus himself. I don't always understand why either. For example, some of you know I served in Kazakhstan for 2 years, and I thought it was going to be a lot longer than that. I still don't understand completely why. More immediately, I don't know why my 2 girls are healthy and Greg's son died this way. I don't know why. I don't know. But what I do know is that Jesus stretched out his arms to us and he took our pain and our suffering and our sin on the cross. And he died for us. And he died so that we could have life. And then he rose again 3 days later to show that he was victorious and that he would conquer. He conquered then and he will conquer again. And all those things will be made right. Jesus was enough for Martha in that moment. May he be enough for us. So Jesus interacts with Martha and she displays faith. And then we come to Mary. Mary, on the other hand, has hung back. She heard the same news, but she waited. It's not until Martha comes to her and says, the teacher is asking for you, that she gets up and goes to Jesus. And when she gets to him, she says the same initial words that Mary did, or that Martha did. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But she collapses at his feet and just weeps. She just cries. stop crying? Does Jesus say real men or real women don't cry? No. Does Jesus ask her for a statement of faith like Martha? No. He meets her where she's at. And he sees her crying, and he sees the mourners with her crying. And what does Jesus do? He weeps. He weeps with us. And sometimes that's the best thing we can do with other people who are in the midst of tragedy, is just to be with them and weep with them. Jesus' manhood wasn't threatened by crying. And neither is our standing in him. We can cry, we can weep with those who weep. And Jesus weeps with us when we are those who are weeping. Now there's another interesting thing. Not only does Jesus weep with those who are weeping, but he is angry with them. That's the blank on the bulletin. You don't quite get it in the English translation, but in verses 33 and 38, where it says that Jesus was deeply moved, it actually implies anger there as well. He wasn't angry at Mary, with the mourners. He sees the results of death. He sees the results of sin and its effects on people. And he is angry at death. And sometimes when we go through the tragic, we are angry as well. There are things that are just not right, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. Jesus is angry too. We can know that Jesus is not afraid of emotion. And thankfully our culture's getting a little past that. It used to be that it wasn't okay to weep. I'm very thankful for my father, who is a man who would cry at sad movies and things like that. I always had that good example of it's okay to have feelings. And we need to know that. We need to know that's okay, to acknowledge our emotions. Now sometimes we need to make sure that we express those emotions in healthy ways. For those of you who have kids, kids can express their emotions in very unhealthy ways. And temper tantrums and things like that. But we can know that when we are like Mary and we're just crying, or we're angry at what's happened, Jesus knows what we're feeling. We can be comforted. He knows what we're feeling. We are not alone. And that's one of Satan's tactics, is that, you're the only one who's experienced like this. You're the only one feeling this way. And that's a lie from Satan. Jesus knows how you feel. He does. And not only does he know how we feel, he takes that, and then he is moved to act. Right? And that brings us to the last point, which we know up here, but we need to get even deeper. Jesus has the power to raise the dead. And we see it here in this passage physically. He raises Lazarus physically from the dead. It's interesting that, Jesus' plan, he waited on purpose so that Lazarus would be dead for 4 days. Because there was a kind of a Jewish superstition or myth that the soul hung around the body for 3 days. So on the 4th day, then the person was, really dead. He wasn't mostly dead anymore. He was really dead.
There's only one thing left to do when they're all
dead.
Go through the pockets
He
of
waited
loose
till
change.
everybody knew it wasn't a question that he was just kind of unconscious for a while.
To blade.
He made it clear that as Martha said, Jesus, the body's going to stink by now. Okay? So they knew, the people there knew, that Jesus could raise somebody physically from the dead. It's a huge miracle. I want to widen that too. That Jesus can raise from the dead spiritually. It says that we are dead in our trespasses and sins. In Ephesians 2:4, Paul writes, But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in our transgressions. And Jesus raises us spiritually. And some of you may have people in your life that are far from God. Jesus can raise them spiritually as well. We have faith. And even further, Jesus can raise maybe some of those hopes and dreams that seem dead, or maybe relationships that seem dead. There's kind of a metaphorical death sometimes that Jesus can raised from the dead in our lives. For the first half of my life, my dad was a compulsive gambler, and one sense still is. And if you had told me when I was 20 in college that my dad would stop gambling, I would say you're crazy, because he gambled all my life. This week, in fact yesterday, I got to go to my dad's celebration meeting of him celebrating 20 years. And
Amen.
that is a miracle. Jesus has the power to do miraculous things, to raise things that we think are dead and gone and beyond hope. Sometimes he does it when we can see it. And sometimes we have to wait. Sometimes we have to wait. In Revelation, we talked about the last day and the resurrection of the last day. Do you know before that even death is thrown into the lake of fire? It's this cool picture. It's one of those cool things. That death that Jesus is angry at, he's going to throw into the lake of fire, and it's going to be gone completely.
Amen.
So when we are in the midst of the tragic, we need to know that Jesus has the power to raise the dead. And then we have to make a choice. We have to make a choice to believe. And that's the last point there. Believe, and you will see the glory of God, even if you don't perceive it immediately. Like I said, Mary and Martha got to see it. They waited 4 days. Sometimes we have to wait a lot longer. Sometimes it's months. Sometimes it's years. It may be the last day. We don't know. But if we believe, we will see the glory of God.
Amen.
These are truths that I hope a lot of you already know up here. We know these truths with our head, but we need to get them down here. We need to know that Jesus loves us. And we need to hear it again and again and again. And we need to get it here. We need to know that his plan is better than ours. And we need to hold on to his love and hold on to our own plans and expectations lightly and submit them to him. In the midst of the tragic, we need to know that he's not offended by us coming to him and asking those hard questions and pouring out our hearts to him. But we also need to remember that he's going to respond in ways that we don't expect, but that he is enough. He is enough. Give me Jesus. When I'm alone, when I come to die, give me Jesus. When we are weeping, he weeps with us. We need to know this. May we also be the hands and feet to weep with others, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, weeping with others when others weep. Know that Jesus has felt what you're feeling. You are not alone. And may we remember that Jesus does truly have the power to work in those situations that we think are beyond redemption. Jesus can work. He has the power to raise the dead. May we believe and see the glory of God. Jesus is saying to us, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. And Jesus says, do you believe this? May we answer with Martha, even before we know what God's plan is. Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, I praise you and I thank you for your great love. I thank you that I've got to experience it in so many different ways, and I pray that for every person in this room, they could experience the length and the width and the height and the depth of your love for them. May we seek
Yes,
that,
Lord.
Lord, in your word, however it may be. I pray that every person here would come to know your love for them in a deep, deep way and grasp onto it tightly. Lord, I pray too that there's anyone here who is dead spiritually. Lord, I pray, Lord Jesus, that you choose to believe today, or you lead them on a journey of answering their